onto the feature we've all been waiting for, South Sudan. Vicky?
That's right. Let's put some things into context, Jeff. News of South Sudan's stability as a nation would appear in our news broadcasts every now and then. But how is the world's youngest nation faring on now? Well, let's take you back a bit so you can understand the why behind South Sudan's numerous peace agreements. Well, peace deals have been part of South Sudan's history since its inception in 2011. But the moment that would necessitate peace talks was the civil war that broke out in 2013. President Salva Kiir accused his vice president, Riek Machar, of plotting to overthrow him. Thousands were killed in the fighting between the two factions, and many more fled the country. Machar and the entire cabinet were out of a job following a power struggle within the governing Sudan People's Liberation Movement. Now, a ceasefire was signed in January of 2014, but was broken countless times. More than 1 million people were displaced by April that same year. Peace talks began in Addis Ababa in August 2014 and would draw on for months with no end of the fighting in sight. Now, 2 years later, in April 2016, Riek Machar would return to Juba and be sworn in as the first vice president in a new unity government. His stint as VP was short-lived, however, and he was sacked 4 months later in July that same year after further conflict. Now, after allegations of ethnic cleansing, other human rights violations, peacekeeping missions from the UN and Japan, and a famine in February of last year, President Kiir declared a unilateral ceasefire in May 2017 and called for national dialogue. Now, fast forward to August this year, and President Kiir signs a power-sharing agreement with Riek Machar to end the prolonged civil war. And just last month, on September 12th, Kiir signed a peace deal with Machar, formally ending a 5-year war that has killed tens of thousands. Now, Jeff, Kenya has been part of this story and this journey by hosting peace talks here in 2002 between the South Sudanese rebels and the Sudanese government.
That's right. CPA, they call that back in the day.
That's right.
The country's been troubled from day one.
Kenya, of course, trying to do its part to bring peace once more.
Yeah,
so.
Peace is elusive, no doubt.
Yeah.
In the meantime, he was a former governor of North Bahr el Ghazal State in South Sudan before he was made the Chief of General Staff of the South Sudan Army. But in early 2017, he was dismissed by President Salva Kiir and even termed a rebel. This after dedicating more than 2 decades of his life to the SPLA, the Sudan People's Liberation Army. Now, he was later forced to flee Juba and ended up here in Nairobi, where he's been for nearly 2 years now.
And a few days ago, a documentary was aired depicting him as one of South Sudan's richest people, with millions allegedly stashed in foreign banks. He's also been accused of atrocities ranging from killings and rapes of local villagers during his time as Army Chief of Staff. Yes. So just who is General Paul Malong?
That's right. Who is he? Well,